Hey everybody, what's up? You're listening to Experiment.fm, a podcast where we talk about marketing experimentation, optimization, testing, growth, where we run real experiments on products and brands that we've built, bought, or partnered with a client on. So let's dig in. Okay, hey, what's up, guys? This is Ryan again.
I'm Brienne.
And she's Brienne, and today we're going to talk about something that is really key to how we structure these experiment sprints. It's a fun topic, and I think you're going to get a kick out of it. You're probably already familiar with it, but maybe not. I don't know. So you're going to love this. So today we're talking about the growth funnel. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up on the screen behind me here, and hopefully you can see it. If not, we'll do a over of my screen, but this is the growth funnel, right? And there's 5 steps, right? Acquisition, activation, retention, revenue, and referral. If you've seen, I forget the guy's name, I think it's Dave McClure, did a really cool presentation a long time ago about this funnel, and he calls it Startup Metrics for Pirates. Right, because it sounds like a pirate, right? R-A-A-R-R-R, and it may sound silly, but it works. So it's a little bit different by business model, but we'll go through it real quick and dive in. So acquisition, activation, retention, revenue, referral. Acquisition, how do we get traffic, right? How do we get people to our site? How do we get them to our site? So what are some of the ways that we can acquire traffic?
So it may be through media buying, so ads. It may be
different
through
types of media buying.
Different, yeah.
Like what?
Display, search, social.
Yeah. Paid social, organic search.
Yes. Shopping.
Yeah, shopping feeds. It really depends on what your business model is, and I would encourage you that if you're using a marketing agency and they're not asking you questions about your business model, then that's a concern. Like the first questions that we typically try to ask customers is digging deep into the model, right? What is it? Is it SaaS? Is it freemium? Is it free trial? Is it B2B e-commerce? What's the model? Because that affects how you acquire traffic. So acquisition is, how do we get people to your site? How do we get them to pay attention to us? How do we build an audience? Is it YouTube? Is it Instagram? Is it building a following on LinkedIn? Like, how do we acquire eyeballs and traffic?
And usually a lot of clients think that this is the problem.
100%.
Right? Like this is the only problem. Once they're here, we can get them. But this is like really the focus a lot of times.
Yeah, it's interesting. These things kind of all fit together. The problem is rarely specifically in one area. Like the problem typically spans across multiple areas. So the second stage is activation. Once we have someone's attention, how do we get them to activate, right? How do we get them to do something? Whether that's put in their email address and join a club, put in their email address and get a coupon code, sign up for a free trial, take a demo, whatever, again, the business model impacts what this funnel looks like. So for
basically
example,
an easy step. The first easier thing for them to do. It's not as commitment based. It's kind of like a little bit easy and kind of a teaser.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like in a free trial business, this would be like, think Evernote, for example. Their activation thing or event would be creating an account, right?
Like Uber.
Yeah, Uber. Download the app, create an account, right? For a, I don't know, like a B2B sales organization, maybe an insurance company, activation would be filling out a quote form, right? Something along those lines. For a bank, getting a mortgage quote.
Calling a number.
Calling a phone number, yes. Some sort of engagement. For an e-commerce company, activation could be, signing up for a newsletter to get deals. Something along those lines. Now this is where it gets tricky and kind of varies per business model. Retention is one that's maybe looked at differently in the kind of startup product world than it is in the e-commerce sales world. So and I'm going to talk through an example in the startup world. So let's talk about Uber for a second, right? What would be the retention element for Uber, right? You go to Uber, you download the app, you create an account, and you go find a ride, right? They're monetizing at that point. The second you get their ride, they're making money. So you're kind of in the revenue stage there.
Putting in your credit card.
Yeah, putting your credit card in. Retention for them is, and for a lot of business models is whatever the engagement event that they're optimizing for, it's doing that thing again, right?
Yeah.
So
Ride number 2.
Yeah, ride number 2, right? And trying to get that thing to happen multiple times. So like Instagram, for example, their retention event that they probably optimized for is, activation would be downloading the app, creating an account, and uploading a picture, right?
Yeah. And
retention would be doing it over and over again, right? And if you look at like a cohort analysis of Instagram's users, you're probably going to see a lot of images uploaded.
Let's make an Instagram post right now.
Huh? I'll do it again. Retention. So for like for a SaaS business, for example, retention might be looked at as, if I sign up for a free trial and then I convert to paid, retention would be paying again, right? My monthly subscriptions, right?
Yeah.
So retention and revenue kind of go together. For e-commerce business, you can look at this a number of different ways, right? Revenue obviously is when someone buys something from you, right? One of the things that we typically like to look at as a retention event in an e-commerce business is like viewing product pages, or if you're lucky enough to have videos or product demos, then viewing those demos and adding them to cart is a retention event. Like if people are coming to your site and doing those things over and over again, that means they're interested in your product. If they're scrolling around on the feed.
Or even like a one-click upsell.
Yeah, for sure.
Product, or like recommended products and things like that.
Yeah, that's a great point. So these events kind of span all the different models, and it's important that if you're doing an experiment sprint to kind of understand your model and where the events that you're trying to track fit in. Referral, the last one is, how do we get people to tell their friends about the product, right? Sharing invites, right? So Uber, if you look at that model, actually Dropbox, like the classic growth hack, right? This sort of, most famous growth hack ever was the invite your friend to use Dropbox kind of thing. That's a, widely celebrated growth experiment that worked, and that would fall in the referral stage. Getting your users or your customers to invite their friends is huge.
Or to leave a testimonial,
yes.
Reviewing a product in the e-commerce world, things like that.
Yeah, that's a great point. So that's how we think about the growth funnel. I would encourage you to think about how this acquisition, activation, retention, revenue, referral, how this funnel applies to your business model. And then if you're interested in doing a deep dive into this funnel and what it looks like applied to your business, or maybe a new product that you're trying to launch, get in touch with us and we'll do a workshop and dive into it with you and maybe provide some insights into how you can build a experiment roadmap going forward. In the next episode, we're going to take this exact same concept and show you how we build our sprints around this and some of the tools that we use to plan experiment sprints for each stage of this funnel. So stay tuned.
Yeah, tell your friends.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye.